There's a new very low nicotine tobacco developed by 22nd Century and North Carolina State University. In the FDA's most recent tobacco regulatory plan announcement, one of the topics that Scott Gottlieb announced was their plan to reduce nicotine levels in cigarettes. I didn't even know if that was possible, but it looks like it is because somebody has already developed a non-GMO, low-nicotine tobacco crop. This tobacco is being called very low nicotine, or VLN, which was developed by 22nd Century Group and North Carolina State University. They say it has no foreign DNA and no traces of genetic modification. 22nd Century is a biotechnology company that specializes in genetic engineering solely with tobacco and cannabis plants. According to their website, their goal is to reduce the harm caused by smoking. They claim that they have used their technology to grow tobacco that has 97% less nicotine than normal cigarettes. They say that they have also developed plants with very high nicotine levels. This leads us to what 22nd Century Group is selling, which is called X22. X22 is a new smoking cessation aid that uses this new low nicotine tobacco, and guess what it is? Cigarettes. That's right, they are developing low nicotine cigarettes and plan to submit the product to the FDA for approval. And it turns out that this isn't new. Philip Morris actually created a zero nicotine product in 1994, but it changed the taste dramatically and smokers didn't like it, so they gave up. The founder of 22nd Century, Joseph Pandolfino, founded his company in 1998 to try to find a way to produce acceptable tasting low nicotine tobacco, and that's what he did. It worked. They sub-licensed the technology to Vector Group in 2003, the large tobacco company who makes Pyramid, Liggett, and other brands of cigarettes. Vector created a low nicotine cigarette called Quest and tried to get it approved by the FDA as a smoking cessation product, but it didn't work out for them. 22nd Century got the rights back from Vector and developed a second generation version of their technology, which is what they use now. Last year, 22nd Century submitted a modified risk tobacco product, or MRTP, application to the FDA, but the FDA told them that they needed to provide additional scientific data from already completed studies. This is a key thing to note. They said already completed studies, which some experts are interpreting to mean that 22nd Century doesn't need to perform any further studies, they just need to provide more data. In light of this, they are continuing to try to get their cigarettes approved as a modified risk product, but they're also submitting a pre-market tobacco product application, which if approved, would allow them to sell their cigarettes without making claims that it's a smoking cessation aid. So you might be wondering how effective low nicotine cigarettes are for helping smokers to quit. Well, it turns out that there's actually quite a bit of research that shows that it is effective. For example, a New Zealand study from 2012 shows that users of very low nicotine cigarettes were more likely to quit smoking after 6 months. A study in 2013 showed that very low nicotine cigarettes reduced the withdrawal effects of quitting smoking and resulted in the smoker smoking less. And another study in 2014 showed the same thing. There are many other independent studies showing benefits. Something to note, though, is that these cigarettes still have the same massive health risk that normal cigarettes do, but they might actually help people quit, which is a good thing. I still can't get past the idea of people smoking to quit smoking, though. It just doesn't sit right with me. Obviously, I think electronic cigarettes are the better route to take. Vaping tastes better, it's much safer than smoking, and we have a strong and supportive community.